Hi, I'm Sherry, and welcome to my kitchen. I promised on the last video that I would share the SUZI-Q cake recipe with you today. That the dip I made that you can use with strawberries is just a regular old fruit dip, but it actually came from this recipe shared with me, I'm thinking like 20 years ago, from Debbie Wilson here in town, if anyone remembers her. And actually, I get to hear her speak today. I think her name is Debbie Appleton now. I'm hoping I'm getting her name correct. But anyway, I've made this cake for years and years and years, and it is my most requested cake. And what I love about it is it starts from a cake mix. And I shared earlier, here is a Duncan Hines Devil Food. I've even done this with the off brands. It's still fantastic. But what I always do when I make a cake from a mix, I'll always add, if I want a fluffier cake like this one, I would want it to be fluffy, I go ahead and add an extra egg. If it calls for 3, I do 4. Often if I want a cake to taste richer or more like a homemade cake, if it calls for a cup of oil instead, I'll use a cup of softened butter, and it gives it a much better taste. Or if it's a butter recipe where on the box it even calls for a stick of butter, I may go ahead and do a stick and a half because I'm a butter loving woman and that's what I do. But you know, if you want your clothes to fit, you may want to just do it the way the box says. But anyway, I jazzed this up even a little bit. But this recipe that Debbie shared years ago was just a simple box cake recipe. Go ahead and make it according to the package directions if you like. It'll be great. For the beginners making cakes, anytime you bake a cake, you let it cool in its own pan for about 10 minutes afterwards, and then run a knife around the edges. And these are always in cake pans that you've oiled and floured first, or better yet, there is something on the market that's just absolutely wonderful, and it's called Baker's Joy. You just spray the pan, and it's sort of a mixture of oil and flour, and then it's all good. You spray the bottom and the sides, and then your cakes turn over much easier when you're cooling them. So after about 10 minutes, I turn them onto a pan, and like today, I needed them to cool very quickly. So then I went ahead, I do it in 2 small pans. You could do 1 large and cut your cake, but I had 2 smaller pans, and I put them in my freezer. And because they were smaller pans, in less than 15 minutes, really about 10 minutes, they were already cool. Because you never want to frost a cake until it's completely cooled, because it will thin your frosting, and then you'll have all sorts of troubles. So anyway, I just wanted to show that I went ahead. This is just to save time here. This was I had, instead of 1 cake split into, this is 2 small cake pans. And here's the wonderful thing about this. When I turned out one, I don't know if you can see closely here, it even kind of stuck on the side, but we're gonna camouflage all of this, so that's not a problem at all. And here's the other thing. So we've made our cake. And now here's this Betty Crocker. This one is whipped chocolate frosting, or use their milk chocolate frosting, either that you want to do. This one, I just kind of like the way it looks. So let me adjust this a little bit here. So you're going to you can take a knife. I have this one, it's kind of beveled a little bit. You don't have to have this tool. You can use a regular knife. This just makes it easier. And you just start slop a big old blob like that. Don't worry right now that it looks good. Right now all we're doing, and I'm gonna turn the cake pan, we're just slapping it on there just to get it covered. And we'll clean up our mess after, so you don't have to worry about how smooth or anything like that. Sure this is all okay. Turn it a little more, and for the sake of time on here, I would even do a better job of slopping it on, but I just want to kind of give you an idea what we're doing. Okay, after you have this way, before we do the rest, because you're not going to use any more of this, so you can go ahead, you can use the whole can if you want, and just start adding, like where you see, not as much there, I need a little more there. And my turners want to end over here. You might see this where it comes up just a little on the bottom, so I'm going to hide that with just another large amount of it. And you could make this be really smooth if you like a smooth finish cake, or if you think that's harder to do, you can go ahead, you know, do like little, there's really no way. I'm going to go ahead and do it a little smoother, but it's however you want it to be. Okay, that's just the idea right now. Then in the last video, I shared that wonderful dip recipe for berries and all, but oh my gosh, it is absolutely marvelous as a filling in this cake. And we're going to save a little for the topping also. So you just, I mean, it was already in the filling. I'm sorry, this is what I saved for the topping. And here's the great part of this. You don't have to be a cake decorator. We're just smoothing the top, and I'm going to get a good shot of it in a minute. And I kind of just go in swirls a little. Now sometimes, I took a cake decorating class years ago, but I normally don't even have the time to do that. But I did learn some tips, and I do have a pastry bag that sometimes I'll pipe some chocolate or some different edging on. But let me see how I can do this here. If you can see the top there. Okay, I don't want to make you sick with my horrible video. Okay, now this is another thing I do. There's several things you could do. Chocolate sprinkles on top of this would look nice. But the favorite thing I like to do is pile on berries. I'll put some big ones here. Seems like everybody likes berries. I'm going to trade that guy. I'll just eat this one later. Okay, so we can put the berries on top. If, hang on, I'll keep talking, you keep watching. If I had time today, which I didn't have time, I would have dipped these in chocolate because wow. And often I dip them in white chocolate or almond bark even. But I didn't have time for that. So look, get some syrup even. And you can just start drizzling. And I'll drizzle back and forth and it will run over the sides and all that. Who cares? That's kind of what makes it look really nice. I'll do a little more here. Just as an added topping. You can also do this with melted chocolate, but my Leah Rose and I, my little granddaughter, we ate all of our chocolate that was supposed to be melted. She likes it even for snacks. She's been hanging around Nana too much, I do believe. But anyway, this, I think it's a beautiful cake. You tell me. And it's very simple and not expensive to make. You can leave the strawberries off the top. You can do a better job of decorating. You can clean it up like I'm going to go. This one's going to go to a benefit for someone. I don't know if they are, I don't know if they're serving it or what they're doing with it, but I'm going to take it up for that. So this is worthy of one of those things for company or something nice, or you're wanting to bless somebody. And it's really not going to take a lot of your time and a lot of your money, just a little effort. You're just bumping it up a notch. And people appreciate that. And I do too. So if you make this, let me know. I always get comments on this one from the people eating it and from the people trying to make it. And I've never had one person say they couldn't do it. And I've never had one person say they didn't like it. So give it a try and let me know what you think. And here's good cooking to you. The end.